We begin this hour with the latest out of Venezuela. Overnight, President Nicolas Maduro declared victory on what he called the attempted coup on his country. On Tuesday, opposition leader Juan Guaido called for a military intervention in the country to overthrow Maduro from power. What resulted was a day of violence in the country, leading to multiple people hurt. Now, despite Maduro's proclamation, Guaido today continues urging his supporters to put pressure on the Maduro regime. Following the latest developments out of Venezuela, let's go now to RT correspondent Rachel Blevins. So, Rachel, it doesn't seem like Guaido is at all discouraged about yesterday's results.
Exactly, and Juan Guaido is calling for another day of protest today, and he's not publicly backing down from what he calls the final phase of Operation Freedom. Now, we did see hundreds of protesters that took to the streets yesterday, but we also saw protesters that took to the streets in favor of Maduro. And what Guaido really needs here is the support from the military. And Venezuela's defense minister came out yesterday and he said that other than the few dozen soldiers who initially went with Guaido, it doesn't appear that there was quite the military uprising that he had promised. So it remains to be seen what the turnout will be today, but that's definitely something that we'll be following to see if there are any other members of Venezuela's military that decide to support Guaido.
Yeah, yesterday Guaido's military dreams were a little bit dashed. I think they fell a little bit short. But U.S. officials, they've obviously made it very clear that they want Maduro out. How has the U.S. responded to these latest clashes that we're seeing there on the screen? And what about the statements from both sides of this conflict?
Right, so Maduro came out yesterday and he referred to the protest as a failed coup attempt. And National Security Advisor John Bolton said that that's not possible because the U.S. has already declared that Guaido is the rightful president of Venezuela, therefore it's not possible for them to have a coup. But then Bolton came out today and he said that the only reason that Maduro is still in power is because of what he called foreign influence. Take a listen to what he had to say.
And I think the key point here is that if this afternoon 20 to 25,000 Cubans left Venezuela, I think Maduro would fall by midnight. It's this foreign presence that sits on top of the military, sits on top of the government, that makes it impossible for the people's voice to be heard.
Now, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo also commented on the situation, and he too blamed foreign influence, but he pointed the finger specifically at Russia. Here's what he said.
We literally had Nicolas Maduro getting prepared to get on this airplane and head out of the country before he stopped really at the direction of the Russians.
So yesterday we saw Maduro came out and he said that he had talked to all of his senior military officers and that they had assured him of their loyalty. But Pompeo claims that what was really happening then was that Maduro was on a plane ready to flee the country, and it was only because of the Russians that he's still there today.
Maybe he was on the phone with them on the plane. Who knows?
Exactly.
We
haven't seen any evidence of it, and Maduro did come out and deny those claims altogether.
All right, so there's that. And then lastly, Venezuela, they had initially threatened Guaido with arrest if he left the country, and then legislators stripped him of his immunity earlier this month. Is there any chance that he will be arrested, especially if he continues to incite and call for rioting like he did yesterday?
Right. Well, we saw Guaido yesterday walking around in the streets, marching with the crowds as if he wasn't threatened with arrest. And he was also joined by another anti-government activist who was arrested by the government back in 2014. So they were both out there in the public, and there is a chance that the Venezuelan government could attempt to arrest them, especially because Maduro came out and he said that he was going to go after the organizers of yesterday's protest. But at the same time, we've seen U.S. officials have repeatedly said that all options are on the table regarding Venezuela, so it looks like both Maduro and Guaido are acting with that threat in mind.
All right, a lot of moving parts there. As always, Rachel Blevins, thank you so much for filing this report.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.